crushing it on Wednesdays. Do you hear me? Shut up, Nika. Let's go. Men's over up. Ain't different. Listen, it's women crushing it Wednesdays. OGs hooking up in the kitchen. Call it being range. Nike's opinions leave you kids days. Men's O's are unforgettable fighter. With a fist raised, we talking offensive defense. Cause if you get knocked out, it's all in the pretense. We put lights out like D10s. Christine, so pristine, you gotta respect the Queen's gift. Just sit back and enjoy the views. Opinions are plentiful, but it's for y'all to choose. Women crushing it Wednesdays. Let's get into it. It hit different.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Women Crushing It Wednesdays. I got my girl Chris here. Crystal, how you doing this evening?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. I'm doing very well too. Here in Colorado Springs, doing well. It's not cold, so I'm happy. But before we get started, I want to give a shout out to Kane Beastie, who does our intro. I mean, I can always flow, you know what I'm saying, to that
Yeah, for
music.
real.
He's so talented. And Arthur the Theta that does all of our thumbnails and our intro videos. So shout out to both of them before we started. And our girl Nika won't be joining us tonight. She's got something going on, but she's with us in spirit. So y'all just seatbelts on and watch the show. We got a lot to talk about, like a lot to talk about. There's so much, and you never know who's gonna pop on. We have a few that said they want to pop on tonight. Crystal, is that right?
That's what I hear. That's a
That's what I
rumors.
that's what I hear too. So we're about to find out. We're about to find out. Hopefully everybody in the chat is doing well tonight. The favorite day with your favorite girls. We're here. But before we go any further, I just wanted to talk about the from last weekend. You know, Ortiz and Lubin.
Oh,
Let's let's
there's
talk
not
about
much to
that.
talk about. There's
There's
not
not,
much to
right?
talk about.
Thinking you missed it. But
Yeah.
let's talk about the build up, like before. Like people were like, okay, this is gonna be a true test for Ortiz. It's 50. You know, Lubin has won his last three fights. He's no sucker. Talk to me. Let me know what your thoughts were before the fight and after the fight.
I don't know that I was believing it was 50-50 personally, but okay, I can take that from people if that's what they think.
Hmm.
Um, but I think there's also some other characteristics that happened during this build up that perhaps I was not aware of. I don't know if other peoples were aware of, with the change of the corner, um, things like that. I did not
Yeah.
know about that. I was not aware of that. I don't know if that was last minute or if that was happening and I just was not aware. Were you aware of that?
I was aware of that, but
Okay.
like let's specify, let's talk about that because there was a change of corner. We saw somebody else in the corner that we had usually seen with Lubin, and I'm assuming that his new corner was with him for the whole camp. I would assume that because it was very smart to switch in between. So, so I guess the first time, whenever you saw the fight, that's when you noticed that there was a different corner. Is that right?
For me, yes, but perhaps it's because I have not been on the social media. Um, I don't really know. I will agree with Ramirez. Both of them were class acts during the build up. They
Hmm.
were very respectful to one another. I don't see anything terrible as far as that is concerned. But I truly was not aware of the corner change, and that surprised me. Um, Typically,
Yeah.
we see Keiko Roma with past Olympians.
Yes.
We don't see him. I don't typically see him with folk like Lubin.
No.
So it just threw me off a little bit, and I wonder, you know, after you win three bouts in a row with a different corner, changing
Hmm.
corner can have an effect on a boxer as well, or the
Yeah.
relationship in that corner, the trust in that corner. And I don't know if this affect Mr. Lubin or not.
Yeah, and even like learning something new. It's like usually if you get a new coach and you're learning something new, the first fight out, you're probably going to revert back to what you used to do, and it's going to take maybe a second fight, a third fight for that all to process. But also, I mean, statistics say it takes about 40 days for you to stop old habits or learn new habits, you know? So I'm very curious to see how long they were together, to find out how long they were together, but also why the change when Lubin was on a winning streak. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm
Right.
perplexed. I'm very
Yeah,
perplexed.
me too. I truly was shocked when I see that. And perhaps it's because I don't pay attention, like I say, but I was rather shocked about that. And to be fair, a boxer like Lubin, there's not much at that point or that stage in the game you want
Right,
to change.
right.
It's more of a capitalize on what he do well.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Crystal, you're absolutely right. It's like so as a coach, that's what you do. It's like you take a boxer and you see what they already do well, you expound upon it and make sure that they continue doing it. And then the things that they don't do well, you hide them, so that they're
Right.
not evident. So I totally agree with you. And I'm so curious to find out. I would love to see an interview with Lubin to pick his brain, figure it out. Like what was it? Why did he
Hmm.
leave? Why did he put someone in his corner? And honestly, taking nothing away from Ortiz because Ortiz is a beast, but the way that he formed made Ortiz look even more fabulous,
So
than we already know that he is.
RT is, for the record, in my personal opinion, he in his prime.
Yes,
Ortiz is in his prime, and right now I think he is one of the top lads probably in the
me too.
boxing world at
Me
that
too.
weight
Me too.
for sure.
Me too. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I expect to see so many amazing things. He had his little setbacks where he had his health issues and he was struggling and so on and so forth. But he looked so strong,
The
so fast,
last
so
two
powerful.
bouts, yeah, the last two bouts he have looked very, very good. Rather
Absolutely.
impressed.
Yeah, super impressed. I've always known that he was strong and he was very aggressive, and a lot of people would say like he had like a Mexican style, but on he can box too. It's
Yeah,
like
for sure.
he showed so many different layers in the short amount of time that he had to fight. I mean, until he stopped Lubin, until it was stopped,
Hmm.
to show his different levels. I had seen a lot of comments after the stoppage. Like, oh, it was too early, it was too soon, like they should have let Lubin go on. What did you think watching the fight and then seeing these comments?
From me perspective, Lubin was not in exchanging mode. He had fully covered. He not throwing anything back. So for the stop, I'm okay with the stoppage, and to prevent even further damage. And right after the stoppage, it was weird to me also. Robert Garcia, he jumped into the ring.
Hmm.
He have the stool, and Ortiz think he giving it to him, and he actually take it right over to Lubin. Kudos
Yep.
to Robert Garcia for that move. That
Yes.
was incredible on his part, if you ask me.
Absolutely. So yeah, absolutely. So I have to say too, like going back to the stoppage, from the angle that I was, I saw Lubin hanging from the ropes. I mean, his eyes were closed. He was like knocked out on the ropes.
You
And I was
was
like,
ringside, right?
well, I was close to ringside. I wasn't quite
Yeah, yeah,
ringside, but I was very close.
yeah. I was
And
watching on the TV, so I don't get to see like that.
well, you might have seen things closer than me. I don't know, but facing him, like his arms are wrapped around the ropes and he's hanging there and his eyes were closed. I'm like, he's out, already out. So the ref, kudos to the ref because we need refs
For
like
sure.
that,
Yeah,
you know. Yes, we want to give them every opportunity to win the fight and so on and so forth, but their health and their lives are so much more important than that W, for
absolutely.
sure. And then what you were about with the Robert Garcia thing, I've always been a fan of Robert Garcia, like with his training, with his fighters, but also you see like the heart. Coaches have such a huge responsibility to their fighters. You know, um, I mean, I'm kind of petty a little bit. It's like you can be a trainer or you can be a coach. To me, trainers, they get paid by the hour to train someone. They don't care about you, what you're doing. I'm going to get criticized for this, but that's my
Yeah, you are.
perspective. I am, and that's okay. But coaches are parents. They're deeper than that. They're friends. They care about their fighters. They want to make sure that they walk out of the ring alive with all their faculties. You know what I'm saying? And
For sure.
Robert showed that. He showed that he really cared. Yes, his guy, beat Lubin, but he was still there to give the stool to and make sure that he was okay. That's huge.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fucking huge to me.
And that was not he boxer. To be fair, if he boxer, he can sit he boxer down first and then take care
Yeah,
of the opponent. But he see that need and he respond to it. And I think the reaction is nothing but respect for Robert
absolutely.
Garcia in that situation.
Absolutely. And I was on a show with D Style a couple of days ago, and we were talking about this, and I was telling him like one to write a book because unfortunately there are so many trainers, coaches, whatever that don't have the heart like this. Have been around many where their fighter gets put on their butt in sparring, and the top trainer that we know today will walk away and drive off while their boxer is in the ring. And I'm not anybody, and I'm not trying to say that I am, but I had to crawl into the ring to take headgear and everything off and make sure this guy was okay because his
Wow.
trainer drove away.
Wow.
Um, so kudos to Robert Garcia. That's all I'm
For
saying.
sure.
Is
Yeah.
that not everybody's like that, guys? Not everybody's like
Hmm.
he's a real one. He's definitely a real
Hmm.
one. Um, yeah. So Ramirez Boxing said, coaches are doctors, psychologists, counselors, of the above. Hats off to all the coaches. It's so true. It's so true because you gain a personal relationship and you really care, and they have their stuff going on or whatever, and you got to really care. It's not about money. It can't just be about the money. It's got to be about their life. Um, but so speaking of this, so whenever I was after the fight, so Boots mounted the ring. I mean, Boots was there. He was
Oh
invited.
yeah.
I don't know who invited him. Okay. All I know is that I saw him mount the ring. He was standing in the corner waiting for Virgil to get his interview and to go forward. So obviously, I mean, what is Virgil going to do? But he's like, okay, step up here, Boots, because you're there in the corner waiting on me, obviously.
Yeah.
And he calls him up, and then they have the back and forth. What did you think about that back and forth? Let's talk about that first.
I mean, me first thought was this. I don't recall for sure, but do Boots already turn down a fight with Virgil Ortiz prior to this?
That's what word around town is. Do we know for sure? We don't know for sure, but word around town is yes, it was turned down before.
That's what I was thinking. Which Boots have turned down or priced himself out against a few opponents, not just
Yeah.
Virgil or Ortiz. But
Yes.
then, even more perplexing, we go to the after the post interviews,
Hmm.
and Virgil say everyone named but Boots. So I need Virgil versus Boots for me. I
Yeah.
need that to happen. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why he's saying the other lads' names.
So I'm with you. Like the fight that I want to see, Virgil and Boots. It is. It is the fight that I want to see because honestly, like we've talked about before, we want to see Boots fight somebody, and Virgil
Right.
is definitely somebody, especially right now, in his prime, where he's strong, he's healthy. We've seen what he's doing, and so we definitely see that fight. That is the fight that needs to be made. And
Who
they
you got
talked
in that?
about it. Virgil said, "Can I just get a yes from you?" And he said yes. The thing that people don't realize or remember is that the boxer, yes, they're the boss, but they also have to go back to their team, to their manager, and okay, can this be done? And a
Oh yeah.
manager's responsibility is to get the most money for the bang, you know.
Hmm.
So he spoke, and it was great. But he hadn't talked to his team, you know. And one thing that we know, here we go, D style. We had a very heated argument on Monday. Yes, this has been
Oh.
marinating. I mean, Boots talked to him. Um, and yes, let's quit marinating it. But this is the thing. We can go back for many, many years, and I was telling D Style this on the show too. Whenever Errol Spence was in the gym, he started boxing at 15. Went to Gene Vivero's gym. He is his first coach, and Wayne Cha Cha Maddox. A lot of people don't know that. They think Derek James is the one that him and did this and that. No, he was already number one in the nation when Derek got him. Okay, so Wayne Cha Cha Maddox and Gene Vivero, rest in peace, they were the ones that made him who he is today. And he hadn't changed much since then. I will say that. Um, but Virgil was probably 8 or 9 years old in the same gym watching this guy. That was his idol. And he always said his dream fight would be to fight his idol. So I can see him holding on to that dream. Even after everything that Spence has been through, that he's been through, I can see that because how many of us, have a dream when we're a kid and we want to fulfill that when we're an adult? So I get it. I totally get it. That's his thing. Um, so hearing that information, Crystal, what do you think about that?
I still want to see Virgil versus Boots. I need to
Mm-hmm.
put me questions. I have a lot of questions around the Boots situation. A lot of people tell me he the goods. I still be waiting for that. So if I have to choose today, Virgil and Boots, I'm fixing to choose Virgil because I see the dog in that lad, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Um, as for uh, Virgil wanting to box with Spence, fine. If there's, if Boots have something on the line right now and he have to wait, go ahead and box with Spence. I don't know if that will, perhaps it will be a big money fight, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
especially
Mm-hmm.
if they do it right there in the Fort Worth,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
Errol from the Oak Cliff area,
Mm-hmm.
um, Virgil
Virgil from
Ortiz
Grand
from
Prairie, even though he
Grand
lives in
Prairie.
California now, but yes.
Right, Grand Prairie, they're right there together. You have the
Yes.
Dallas, you have the Oak Cliff, and then you have the Grand Prairie, then you have the Red
Yes.
Oak, and then the Waxahachie. We can go on and on and
Yes.
on. But it's
DFW.
all right
Absolutely.
there. So I think it will be a huge money fight there in the Dallas area. Um, do I care to see it? I don't care. To be honest with you, I don't care. If you want to do that, that's great. But I want to see Boots first. Take Boots and then go back for the money. That's
I,
just my
I, I
personal
get
opinion.
it. No, I get what you're saying. And Christine, does Virgil get full credit for doing the version of Arrow? Well, I think to the fans of Arrow Spence, they would have to give him credit. I really do. Remy, my brother, evening
Thank you,
ladies. I
Remy.
still want to fight Tyson. I still want to fight. Fight him, beat him, get that money, get that bag. So this is the thing, and I see because I've spoken to Ortiz's manager, Rick Merrigan. I love him. He's great because there are very few guys in the game right now that really care about their fighters and don't look at them as just like money. You know what I'm saying? He really takes care of his guys. He gets them the most money and the plan that he has because he said it on Instagram and then it was like reposted on Twitter. I realized he was on Twitter, but then I saw that he um, was that he said a great money fight would be Ortiz versus Spence, which is very true. At Cowboy Stadium, that would fill up from rafter to rafter. Like it would sell out like crazy. So he's looking to get his guy a bag. And then let's make the Virgil Boots fight after that, because assuming he would beat Spence And then let's make that, and then more money for his guy and his. So I see the business side of it as far as the fans. Yeah, we want to see immediately Boots and Ortiz,
Yeah.
but business side of it, excuse me, I see what they're talking about.
Right, but just like Red Corner say, Errol fixing to go work with Roy Jones Jr. Allow him some time to work, right? Because I don't see Errol coming back as some superhero to the boxing world. The lad take a lot of damage, truly. And
Yeah,
to be honest, I don't I don't care to see him back in the ring. And it's not because I don't like the lad. It's simply because of his health. I want him to take care of his family, take care of his
yes,
business.
yes,
Um, no reason to lay it on the line again. You laid too much for too long, right?
that's true. That's
So
true.
he stay at 147 for so many years. He truly do.
Yeah.
For him to move up to 154 and be able to take on someone like Virgil Ortiz coming right back into it, I think that's dangerous for him.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And going back to the Roy Jones Jr. thing, look, Roy Jones Jr. in the ring in his prime, he was a fucking animal. He's up there top 10, right? Top 10,
Hmm.
okay? Um, Not every world champion can turn around and be a coach. A lot of times you know what to do, but you don't know how to teach. And then there's a lot of coaches that were never a world champion, but they know how to coach. You know what I'm saying? So when I see that Roy Jones Jr., this was him. This is exactly what he said. I'm coming to Dallas tomorrow to work with him a little bit. I don't have to be his trainer. Well, of course you don't. Did he call you to be his trainer? Just saying. Just want to help him get going and see what he can do. He can do. If he like it, cool. Let's just get back up. Get back up where? And why? Okay, here comes Bernie. Hold on. Let me get
Funny, the
him.
boxer.
Yes, let me try to get him on here. Bernie the boxer. Why can't I get him on here? Okay, Bernie, get off and come back on because for some reason it's not saying I'm not able to allow you in. So, so Roy Jones Jr., I don't know if he's the savior of Errol Spence. I don't know. I don't think so, but I don't know. Uh, why is it not letting me let him on? Okay, let me see. Anyway, so let me see. Can you help me? Because I really hear what he's got to say about this. Um, I just don't know what Roy Jones Jr. could do. I really don't.
Here's me thought. I,
Yes, let
I,
me
tr-
know.
I truly love Roy Jones Jr. One of me favorite of all time, right? And I love Roy Jones Jr. as a commentator with the HBO. I remember
Mm-hmm.
that when I
Mm-hmm.
was younger. I remember even growing as older. I remember that. I remember Roy Jones Jr., Andre Ward, all of those together. That's a team, man. They are a team, and they are so good. I love to listen to them when they have interviews together. I actually just watched one earlier this week, but this is what I would say about Roy Jones Jr. I respect this lad, and I think that he wear he passion on his shoulder, and perhaps he wished to help Mr. Spence,
Sure.
get back in the ring, get the feeling of it. Do I expect him to be his coach? Probably not. I don't know, but who do Spence have right now to coach him? Who is willing to coach him? I don't know that either.
Well, and who is
You
he
know,
willing to work with? It's like
right?
it's going to take someone very special that is going to elevate him and change some things. I mean, um, there were some things that we saw. He hasn't transitioned much. If you go back to his USA boxing years and then to his pro years, not much was changed. It really wasn't.
Right.
I was criticized years ago because I said he is like a coach's dream. Like you can just put the water in the corner and let him do his thing because his IQ was so smart and he was so talented. But he needed a little bit more. You know, he could do so much on his own with what he knew. And that's how he got by. Let's just face it. That's how he got by on his own IQ. Um, so I don't know, but I don't know what Roy Jones Jr. could bring. I don't know. In the past, I've had boxers in the professional realm. We fought his boxers and we beat him. We beat them. And I'm not
But
saying anything against him. I'm just
he
saying
not the boxer, right?
don't know exactly. If he was a boxer, it'd be different. But as far as the coaching, can he take him where he needs to be? I'm not so sure of that. I don't believe that personally. I don't.
But do Roy develop boxers? I don't know. I don't know what type of boxers he get with. I don't know what. I know some boxers truly appreciate what Roy have to say to them when they do work
Sure,
with
the
him,
advice.
right?
Absolutely. 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 No, I totally agree with that. Roy tried to mold boxers into his style. Problem is, he was too good and most can't replicate. Absolutely. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. And we cannot make like duplicates, and I think that was one of the problems with Spence and his coach Derek James. It's like he wanted everybody to do what Spence did. And you cannot do that. Everybody has their own talents, their own skill set, things they can do and can't do. And so for me, thank you so much. Red corner boxing, Spence ain't going in with Ortiz after Lubin. I think that you have to take the boxer and you have to see what they have and don't have and how you can help them. Yeah, that's just me speaking as a coach. I'm a coach. I'm a coach. I don't know. I'm worried about that. I really am. I just don't know why I cannot get Bernie on here. I just don't know what the problem is. So I'm so sorry because I really wanted him to.
Yeah, me too. I want to. What he say? Do you miss me? We miss you, Barney the boxer.
We do
Get
miss
back.
you. We do miss you. But for some reason, it will not let me bring him on stage. It just says, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But I'm so sorry because I really wanted to hear what he had to say. So Remy's can see that fight not happening. Roy is more of a mentor than a coach. I agree with this. I agree with this. That back to stage. Yay!
Mhm.
I think I got him. I don't know what the problem is.
You have to put the three stage on.
Yeah, I did. I put the three people on.
We only have two still.
Yeah, but I put the three people. Hold on. We're gonna get that. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. We are going to get it. I just don't know why it's not letting me add him. Freak. This is why we need Nika. She's so good. And I
Hmm.
suck. Oh my god, I suck at this. Yeah, I have the three people. But
You only show two though. You don't
yeah,
have
but I,
a
but I
spot.
click three and it's not letting him come up.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean I'm on here and I'm three people. I'm clicking it, but it's not going.
What happened if I leave and then you bring him on? Can you try to bring me on? Since I already
Um
be on here once.
okay, let's try it. Let's just try it.
Yeah.
Sorry
Let me
guys.
get out.
Sorry guys. So sorry. Let's see if this works. Add to stage. I tried to I'm adding you to stage. It's not working, Bernie. I don't know why. Uh, yes, Clay Stevens says, you're so on it, never evolved as a fighter, hence why he's always comforting pick. Yeah. Yeah. Bernie, I don't know why I can't add you. And I'm so fucking sorry. Okay, I'm going to send the link again. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send the link again because I so want to know what Bernie has to say about this. Technical difficulties. Technical difficulties. Okay, here we go. Yeah, this is not fucking working. Okay, come back. I'm just going to post the link right here. Paste. Nika, help me. Help me, Nika. And Crystal, come back. So yeah, so Spence has never evolved as a fighter, which is so sad. So it just goes to show that he was born with talent. He definitely had talent. Um, he, like I said, like I got criticized so much, and like it was a whole thing. Trust. When I said that all you had to do is put like a water bottle in the corner, and that he would be able to take care of himself. But you know, and I wasn't trying to throw shade. I was just trying to give Spence a compliment. Okay, come back on, Crystal. I don't know what to do. Okay, so let's go back. But so anyway, so the thing is on the way home from work. Okay. The thing. I don't know what happened, Crystal. Like I could add you to the stage so easily, but I could not add him. I don't know what it is.
Well,
Um,
you have spots up there now.
yeah, that's Nika, but
Oh,
she's not on. But yeah, we have three spots. But I had clicked three spots too.
uh-huh.
So hopefully,
She will get it figured out.
yeah. Sorry, I just freaking suck.
No, you
Um,
don't. You'll be fine.
okay, it says so red corner boxing said he's not turned his camera on. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Um, so Daniel says Spence had a great run, made some money. Not everybody can be an all-time great. I mean, that's true. That's true. So Hasiel says maybe Breadman. Okay, add to stage. See, I'm pressing stage and it's not adding him, and I don't know why. That Virgil would be a good coach for him or Breadman. I don't know what it is, Bernie. I'm so sorry. I just don't know what it is. Usually, Nika deals with this, and she's so good at it. I need to learn, but I don't know. I said add you to the stage, and I don't understand. Um, so the aircraft carrier says that Breadman got Caleb whooped versus Resendez. So, mm, I think there has to be a perfect fit. Like there's always a perfect fit for you as a coach. I really believe that. Like not everybody can coach everybody. I really believe that. Like I think that there has to be some kind of chemistry. You have to treat each other and it has to work. It really does. Um, so red corner boxing, he's a complete dropout. Come back in, except Karen and Mike on. Come in, else it won't. Yeah, let you put him on the stage. Okay, so he needs to completely drop out, come back in, accept the camera and make. Okay, so I'm pressing add to stage and it's just not working. I don't understand this.
Can you see him in the background?
It says, well, yeah, he's there. He would need to go to his browser
Mm.
settings and allow permission on. Okay. He needs to go to his browser settings and allow permission on the site settings. Do that, Bernie. Can you hear us? Go to your browser settings and allow permission on the site settings. Do that, please. Try to do that. This freaking sucks.
Mm.
Oh my gosh. I just hate it. I really wanted him on here and I just don't understand what's going on. Caleb's camp went through a lot of problems, not the coach's fault. Okay. So no, we have not covered this yet, and we're going to get to that. So Chris, y'all covered Jake versus AJ already. No, we have not. So, but I do want to touch that. But before we do touch that, I want to just give a shout out to Christy Martin and Sydney Sweeney and that movie I saw. Oh, here we go.
We miss you.
Bernie. Oh my God. What was the problem?
I had to go because you sent it through Instagram, and
Ah,
then I had to open it in Chrome. I guess on my I don't know. Yeah.
there you go. Oh my God. Thank God. Thank God you figured it out. I was like, what am I wrong? I am fucking fired. Okay, good. Okay, so welcome to the show with Crystal and I. So we were
It's good,
just
bro.
talking about the Ortiz and Lubin fight. So
Yeah.
before we go on any further and talk about what we were talking about, talk to me about what you thought about that fight.
Uh, man, I expected a better fight, but Lubin, man, he just that punch resistance just ain't there, man. That punch resistance just ain't there. And it didn't even seem like Ortiz hitting with like a really hard shot. And you know how he went out. He just like his soul left his body for a second. And I didn't like that for him. And so I think that's just it. I don't know how he was feeling. He seemed confident, but he always has a confident demeanor about him. But when he came out the ring, he didn't seem when he came out and out the corner, he didn't seem confident. He easily got pushed to the ropes. He didn't seem like he didn't have no kind of game plan, like he didn't have like what was he going to do when the bell rang, or what was he expecting when the bell rang? He just like he had no clue what was going on. He didn't, just like and I just want to say it's like, when Crawford came out against Canelo, you see how he stepped straight to him and he double jabbed and right handed him, even though it didn't necessarily win, but he just kind of sent the message, kind of set the tone.
Yeah, I'm here.
And he didn't set the tone, you know what I mean? So his tone was just like I say, he went back to the ropes. He didn't snap his jab out. He didn't have no real upper body movement. He didn't like try to use no distance to try to like get his feet up under him, and man, so I feel for him, far as that, but yeah, it was I was expecting a better fight than that. I really want to see how the fight went. I favored Ortiz, but I just want to see how Lubin would get done, but I think it's time for him to hang it up.
Yeah, there was a few things that really concerned me because yes, so before they fought, everybody was like, you know what, this is a tough fight. Like, is Ortiz going to be able to do it? Like, Lubin, his last three fights, he looked great. Maybe his last fight not so great, but he looked good. So we were like, okay, this is going to be a fight. And we also saw whenever he entered the ring that he had a different corner. And I'm thinking, okay, you won your last fights, you have a new corner, what's going to happen? So we saw what happened. And then afterwards, people were like kind of discrediting Ortiz because they thought Lubin was shot, but they weren't saying he was shot before. So was Ortiz so good or was Lubin not self? You know what I'm saying?
No, I think Ortiz is what he is. I think Ortiz is a really good fighter. And, I think, the Andrea Holmes guy he just fought is not on the level of Virgil Ortiz. So he wasn't going to be able to
Yeah.
exploit his weaknesses or, his shortcomings. So, you in there with a guy like Virgil Ortiz, like I say, and they have um, they have brung him along to where, like I said, I did a show the other day where that he's not only can be a champion, but he can hold the championship. So the way they didn't put him in there with the right kind of guys, and so they actually, I mean, they've been stringing him along for, like prolonging his shot. They're not rushing him to the championship.
Right.
So like I say, Lubin's last guy, that guy wasn't on the level of none of those guys, and no, so I think that I think Lubin, I think he revealed that he is shot, because I think I could see Lubin as like a throwback type of fighter. He done had some tough losses. He then came back and had some good fights and showed a tremendous heart, tremendous skill set. Even with the Fandora fight, he was still in the fight. Dropped Fandora, was able to handle that guy. Dropped him, he was rangy, and he fought a good fight. But he just at the end, his defense ain't up to par enough, And he's a born fighter though too. Though Lubin is a fighter. He's not really a boxer like that. He's a fighter, so he's going to be there to be hit.
Yes.
And that just seems to be his undoing. That's just his makeup as a fighter, and it just didn't happen for him. I think he had a good career. Not a lot of people don't get a shot at the title. He fought on the big stage a couple with guys like Charlo, Fandora. Now as he didn't made it. So that's a pretty good career to me. Like I say, it didn't turn out the way he wanted it, but he had a solid career. He was a true professional, and I take my hat off to him as a fighter. And I don't take nothing away from Ortiz. I think he was, like I say, every time, I've been a victim of listening to what other people say and then letting my guard down and not and then getting shot. So as a fighter, you can never you train for King Kong. No matter what he did in his last fight, no matter what people said about him, you train for him like it's King Kong. And I think that's what Virgil Ortiz did. And it just turned out that Lubin is he didn't have a punch resistance. But I think Ortiz was able to handle whatever Lubin would have brung. Ortiz would have been able to handle it. So I don't take nothing away from Ortiz. He did what he's supposed to do, and let's on to the next.
Same. I kind of wondered, like, if the game plan was, because Lubin immediately went to the ropes. I was like, did he think he was going to, like, maybe punch himself out? Did he think Ortiz was going to do that? And then he found out that was not going to happen. A lot of people said that it was stopped too early. I personally didn't think so. I happened to be there at the fight. I saw Lubin was hanging from the ropes.
His arm was on the referee after the fight. Did you see his arm draped around the ref?
Yeah.
And listen. People that are saying that, they really idiots. Because it's not funny, but the man was out on his feet.
He was.
That shot hit to his temple. He was out on his feet. His body went limp, and then he woke back up a little bit. The referee did the right thing, man. That when that referee was closest in there, seen it and jumped in. Because at first I missed it. I forgot what I was doing. I might have blinked or something and didn't really see it. But once I seen it, I said, man, he was out on his feet. And the thing about that is that fighters, he has to understand at the same time. I was watching Andre Ward too. Andre Ward, he talks real good. I love the way he talking, the way he said the same things I said, but I think he critiqued it a little better. But I think his best days is somewhere else, because with the shots that he's been taking, the punishment he took against Fandora, the knockout he took against Charlo, this shot right here that he took with these 8-ounce gloves on, well, 10 ounce now because there's at 54, but man, how is he going to be in 10, 12 years? How is he going to be? He has to think about that, exactly. and I feel like, nothing is worth your life. Nothing is worth your health, because listen, if you was to become a champion, you couldn't even hold the champ. Like, let's just say he won the championship, but how would he be able to enjoy it later? Would he be able to enjoy, being a champion, in the ring, after the ring, being a Hall of Famer, if that was the case, anything, enjoy the money that he would make, because once your health is in jeopardy, His
Yeah.
family, you know what? How can you? You know, it just means nothing. If you
Right.
can't really, you can't appreciate. You know, it means nothing. So nothing is worth more than that. You know,
That's true.
than your health and your well being. You know, so
Do
I
do
want
you
to see
think
him.
that he will try to continue though? Like Gamboa just be continually fed to another
I
better
think he will,
opponent?
but Gamboa, the thing about Gamboa is he never took a lot of punishment. You know, Gamboa didn't take a lot of punishment. You know, he hadn't had no punch resistance, but he didn't take a lot of punishment. You know,
Hmm.
but Lubin is taking a lot of punishment. I
Yeah.
think Gamboa's most punishment he took was against Bud. You know, Bud really punished
Yeah.
him a little bit. You know, all the other guys, I don't think Tank punished him a lot. You know, Haney, they didn't really punish him, but so his punch resistance, he always was his punch resistance was funny style anywhere at his peak. You know, Gamboa get dropped at his peak, you know,
Right.
and almost like a Trinidad. You know, Trinidad would get dropped a lot of times, but he would come back and he would, you know, be stronger. So but Lubin, I just think that, you know, it's just not there for him no more. And I hate to see him going. And I seen a post that he put where he said he was a victim or he was something of his own bad habits.
Yeah.
And I said, what does that mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can elaborate, but what does that mean? And at this stage of your career, you know, where one loss can write you off, you
That's
know,
true.
and you got a couple losses in the championship fights, you know, how can you afford to have a bad habit? You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
Yeah.
it's either you have to conquer that demon or, you know, you have to just, you know,
That's right.
because again, you see what just happened to him. You know, your life is on the line, you
On
know?
the
Right.
So,
line.
so
And
I
Errol Spence has said his greatest regret in life is drinking, you know? Not to just, bring that up, but I'm just saying, like, bad habits or things that might divert you from the things that you need to do, you need to let it go. Red Corner
yeah.
Boxing, thank you. If Boots as Mando fights the winner of Xander and Baru for the WBO and WBA, surely Ortiz needs to happen next. Fundora or Ortiz make the strap.
Well, I want to say this too, though. You know, I can see where where he's saying the drinking, you know, probably the worst thing, but I don't think I wouldn't say that that's what, you know, hindered him a lot because, you know, he just
Yeah,
ran into Crawford and Crawford is just a bad
right,
dude. You know what I mean?
right.
Just he just
No,
his talent, his
fact.
IQ, his uncanny ability to do what he do. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? So everybody else he steamrolled. You know, everybody else pretty much he steamrolled,
That's
except
right.
for, you know, Sean Porter was a good fight, but everybody else he steamrolled. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I think his biggest downfall, true story, um, because fighters back in the day, they all drunk. They smoked. They did this. They
Yeah.
did that.
Right before a fight.
These guys ain't angels. These guys ain't no fucking health nuts and shit like that. Talking about the great
Yeah,
ones. You know, what I mean, they don't really publicize that, but when you
Right.
read their autobiography, you know, and get in, you
that's
know,
true.
so I think, you know, if you do any of those things, it can diminish you. But I don't
Right,
think that was the thing with Crawford. I think
right.
his biggest thing with Crawford, and the same thing was with Canelo, is that for some odd reason they just thought they was just gonna win the fight off of whatever. You know, they
Yep,
didn't give no credit. They didn't show no humility. You
that's
know,
true.
at all. You know, Derrick James didn't give. He was unprofessional throughout that. Spence was unprofessional about
Mhm.
that. And he never conceded to give Crawford no credit. You know,
True.
Canelo really never conceded to give Crawford no credit. Eddie Reynoso said that Crawford can get hurt, but he can't hurt Canelo. You know, these are the things that they're putting in their mind. They're reading and believing all this stuff. So they're already defeated, you know. Like I said,
Hmm.
you know, they're not preparing for King Kong, you know. They're
That's
not
true.
preparing for the best or even a better version of what they've seen, you know. So if I would say that was my my thing that I think that they first did. They believed in their own press clippings too much.
It's
And
true.
that's where it
They
was at.
believe the
But
hype.
yeah,
So, Red Corner Boxing wants to ask you, what do you think about Roy Jones Jr. The statement saying he's going to go see if he can help Spence?
yeah,
Do you think that'll change anything? We
yeah.
already
No,
talked about what we thought.
I
What do
heard
you,
I
as a
heard what you
trainer?
said. Yeah, no, I heard what you said about that. And so I had read that. I was driving in my. I read that, and I thought the same thing. And I sat in my car and I said, man, Roy Jones, he's not a trainer, But as far as like a mentor, I can see that,
Yeah.
his the psyche of a fighter, the psyche of a superstar, all those type of things. I think he can counsel you on things like that, and can kind of stir the pot with you about that. But far as a trainer, no, because like I said, Roy Jones, he had his own. Everybody, he had his own orthodox style.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he did things that nobody else could do, and he fought in a way that nobody else could,
Yep.
and like I say, that was his downfall, in which I hope he could see that, as
Mm-hmm.
great as he was, he didn't have the small fundamental things to fall back on to prolong his career,
That's true.
like I say, like his contemporaries, Bernard Hopkins, even
Yep.
Tarver,
Yep.
he didn't have that. Even James Toney, you know what I'm saying? He didn't have that to prolong his career. Once his reflexes went and everything, he was just, he didn't have nothing else to rely on to get through to a fight. So,
That's true.
as far as being a trainer, I'm not sold on him as a trainer,
Yeah.
but far as
Same.
but I feel like, and see, and that's another thing too. I don't know, because when we seen him train, it seemed like he tried to train the guys like him. Whatever videos that we seen,
Yeah.
That.
it was
That.
never him slowing the guys down,
Yes.
watching their feet, making sure they
Going back to the
stepping,
basics.
hands up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't, so he don't seem like I hear him talk, like I heard him say like on an HBO broadcast, like saying little, people, he'd take everything personal, they'd
Yes.
say, I remember Jim Lampley said something about a jab, and he said, I know you don't use them, Roy. And then Roy, he would say something slick like, so he always seemed like he take a little things
On
personal
the
if you,
defense.
you know,
Yeah.
try to say, yeah. So like I say, I never seen him train a guy with the fundamentals. So I'm not sure how he's versed in that, and so I don't know. But the thing about Earl Spence, actually, I had heard that I don't want to make it seem like this crazy. It might be, but I was heard that they were saying something about we was gonna work with him, and you
That'd be
know
great.
I wouldn't mind working with him. I wouldn't mind working with him. And of course, the all is love and all is fair in love and war.
Absolutely.
And we said what we said, we did what we did. But
Business is
I
business.
respect him as a fighter, as a person, as a human being, and as like I say again, as a fighter. And I want to see him come back. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's I want to see him come back. Like I say, I'm a fan. I want to see him come back. I want to see him come back. And if he would, if I'm not sure. I didn't talk to the guys, but I don't know how that floated around. I won't say where I heard it from, but like I'm saying, I would definitely love to work with him. I would
Yeah.
definitely love to work with him. And it's just the thing, like I say, far as Earl, I think he do everything good. It's just that he's too predictable. And
Mm-hmm.
and Crawford is just, you're
There
just
has
gonna
to be.
dissect you with that.
Yeah.
No?
Crawford an alien too. There is no one
Yeah,
like Mr. Crawford. Let's
I
be
mean,
real
that is
about
yeah,
that
true.
as well.
yeah,
That is true.
yeah. So
That is true.
everybody else ain't gonna be able to figure that out. Everybody else ain't gonna be able to. And
No.
even you could see even with Canelo, you could see they're trying to put their imprint in the fight.
Yeah.
Crawford just had an answer for everything. Crawford just
That's
had an
true.
answer for everything, and a lot of those guys that they fought didn't have an answer for those things. So, but I think if he's gonna come back, I think it's time for him. It's been a little while now. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure I'm sure he's itching to get in there.
It seems like things are starting to erupt now that he is going to be coming back. It seems like it. It seems
But
like it.
who? With who? Who you want to see him box first, Barney?
Now, see, yeah, you know, mm, it's a lot of like these celebrity trainers. Now they're celebrity trainers. Now you got Virgil. I heard you saying about Virgil Hunter. Um, you know, uh, man,
Let's be real though about something. A lot of these guys, and all due respect to them, because at one time they did what they did, but a lot of these guys from way back, 90s, 2000s, they were names, and they were, these boxers were coming up and they were like, you know what? We know that you have your grassroots, but so and so going to be in your corner because he's a big name.
Hmm.
So if we're honest, that happens all the time.
Yeah, yeah,
Am I
but
lying?
no, 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 because that's happened with Manny Pacquiao. I mean, with Roach, Emmanuel Stewart. But
Hmm.
like I said, I think with a guy like Emmanuel Stewart, which
Ronnie
I see a lot of
Shields.
Bowman in him, Ronnie Shields, you know, these are guys that love you and they love fighters and they want to and they like love what they do,
Hmm.
and so I could see him. That's what he needs. A guy that loves what he does and does it for the passion, and
Hmm.
and, and not just a celebrity name. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
And
right.
his style is his style, though. He's not going to be. I seen him show a little nuance. If you go back and watch the Lamont Peterson fight, he had a little nuance where he kind of got on his toes a little bit and kind of
Hmm.
showed a little nuance to his game. But
Hmm.
when they say if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
Right.
And
exactly.
and, and I feel like uh, one of his best attributes is his jab, and a lot
Oh,
of people
for
don't have a
sure.
good jab. So
Yeah.
I feel like he got pretty good defense. He catches and counters. It's
Hmm.
just getting back. It's just getting back on that horse. It just get
Yeah.
back on that horse. Crawford is so dynamic. He can
Right.
do different things in there, and I'm not saying just about switching. He
Yep.
can do different things. He knows how to he know how to move his body in a certain ways. He knows how to his punch selection is off the charts. His footwork is crazy. He got great hand speed. He has long arms. He has punching power. So Crawford is just a dynamic in every in so
That
many
in and
different
out
aspects.
and changing angles and switch, like it's just all just,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so like I said, I would like to see him come back and but it was so much, and it's the thing too though. They say the more stuff you talk, the more stuff you got to take back. You know what I mean? And I
That's
feel
true.
like I think that's what probably messed them up a lot, uh, psychologically,
Hmm.
because a lot of people was feeding into all them clippings that they were saying, and how Crawford ain't this and Crawford ain't that, and how he gonna beat him, and he's the eye collector, and he's this and he's that, and
Yeah.
and then to get whooped so comprehensively like that, it's like,
Yeah,
whoa,
like
you know what I
never
mean? It's like,
before.
damn, you
Yeah.
know. So I think that was a hard pill to swallow for him. But
Yes.
this is the thing too, fighters, which I haven't been on a big stage like that, but you become your popularity really don't go nowhere. People talk shit about you. Now
Yep.
people gonna talk stuff about you, but your popularity really don't wane. They're coming to see you again. They want to see
Absolutely.
you again. So a lot of things like you people feel like everybody's then left them. Or that it's your popularity's still there. They just want to see you. They want to see you come back now. Now
Agree.
it's to write your story again. You know what I mean? Because everybody
Yep.
then lost. All the greats then
Absolutely.
lost. Joe Louis was knocked out by Max Melling when
Yeah.
nobody thought that he could be beat. And he was devastated by Max Melling and came back and had some fights and went on to win the title for 12 years. It's a lot of times. Floyd Patterson was knocked out by Ingemar Johansson really bad, and he came back and knocked out Umar Johansson, to win the title, to be the first person to win the title twice at heavyweight. So it's Jack Johnson was knocked out by Joe Kowinski before and just and they locked him up in jail for 21 days, and Kowinski showed him how to use his attributes, so but I guess
Learning his
everything now
story, and
is
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
it's so much, it's so much public now. And again, like I said, these guys, they don't have no humility. He didn't have no humility.
That
And
part.
and, and you feel like and just like, it could have saved him a whole lot if he would have showed a lot of humility. All
Absolutely.
his fans, I hate to call them dick suckers, but
I
I,
mean,
I say that because it's like you see the writing on the wall, but you don't want to acknowledge nothing. You
Yes,
know,
exactly.
and that's why you can't be that delusional. And what I'm saying is
Yeah.
like this: if he would have been more like gracious, because like Joe Louis said against Jimmy Braddock said about Joe Louis, he said at first he was upset because everybody talking about Joe Louis, and I'm the heavyweight champ. Everybody talking about him though. But then he said, I had to realize this. He said, if I don't if they make them out to be nothing, then when I beat them, then it was nothing. You know what I'm
That
saying?
that
So build them up as big as you can.
that's
So that way when I beat them, then I get all the credit and I'll be bigger. You know, so
exactly.
I feel like,
Exactly.
that was their downfall in that situation. But
Exactly.
again, he's a
And
boxer.
that's what I hate about the fight, the fight, the Lubin and Ortiz. So like, so before the fight, Lubin
Yeah,
was this and that and this and that. And now it's like, he was already that. He was already this, whatever. So it takes away from Ortiz, and then they tried to do the same thing, after Bud beat Canelo. Well, Canelo's already getting older and that, there's always
yeah,
those excuses.
yeah,
They tries to take away from the champ.
yeah.
But
But I don't think Lubin, like I say, everybody know Lubin was kind of, how it was. Everybody
yeah,
knew that going in. But
yes,
the thing about that too was because now you got to remember Lubin was gonna fight um the IBF champ. When he just fought that Holmes guy, that was for the eliminator for the fight the IBF champ. But
Right.
you seen what he did to Tim Tszyu, and so
yeah, exactly.
ain't nobody trying to stay with based off his last fight. So I think in Virgil Ortiz. Now, see, he was supposed to be fighting Boots too. They had offered him to fight. He's accepted the fight, but Boots chose to fight this last guy.
Ben,
When really Boots should have been fighting Ortiz. And
yes,
true story, you know what I'm saying? Should have been
yes,
fighting Ortiz, but no, none of his nobody around him that questions him. It's like they scared to ask him the hard questions. And
yes,
and like Ortiz said, no, y'all was the one doing all the talking. This is just
yes,
retaliation.
yes.
And even Boots, he really didn't have an answer for that.
He did
So
not.
I can't take no credit. Virgil Ortiz is just doing what he's supposed to do. So
Exactly.
he's fighting. Like I say, he fought Madrimov right after Bud fought him.
Mhm.
He fought the Boychek guy. He
Yep.
fought other guys that's getting him ready to be truly ready for the championship. So I can't take nothing away from Virgil Ortiz. I'm a fan of Virgil Ortiz. I'm excited to see the fight with him and Boots. And I think the question is more on Boots in that fight than Virgil Ortiz.
So let me ask you this. We were talking about this earlier. So I mean, there's the business side of everything, and there's the fan side. So I was there at the fights. Boots was already in the ring.
Yeah.
So of course Virgil's like, yeah, come on. I mean, you got a man standing over there in the corner, like gonna get in your face. As a man, you're gonna be like, yeah, come on. Let's
Mhm.
talk, whatever. And then they
Yeah.
had the back and forth. And Virgil said, all I want is the yes. Well, he gave him the yes. But
Yeah.
as a manager, Rick, his manager, is like, it would make more sense. And Virgil's always wanted to fight Errol. There's a paycheck. We build it up. And then the big ass fight that maybe Uncle Turk is going to pick up and give, Ortiz his $10 million like he's asking for, can happen after that. Looking at it
No.
from a business perspective and a fan
No.
perspective, how do we separate that and what about that?
No. No. Now listen. Now they acting like they getting cold feet now. Now, if that's Virgil
You think it
Ortiz
looks like
manager acting like they're getting cold feet, no. Now listen, you don't fight a Virgil Ortiz with all the substance that they've been putting in Virgil Ortiz or been building them up to have substance. You don't go and fight Earl Spence and no, that just come off that loss and out of the ring for almost 3 years. No, you've been
I agree
fighting that man.
100%.
You've been no. Now, no, not for his credibility. Now, okay, if you want to say for the check but
Yeah.
no, not for his credibility. No. And what a fighter need to be doing is credibility. Credibility. We'll fight Spence, let him get I'm a whoop Virgil Boots Enos because I believe that. I accepted the fight before. They didn't want to take the fight. They the one needed tune-ups. They was the ones supposedly needing tune-ups. before the fight me. I was ready to sign the fight. So now that he gonna fight, don't matter if I fought him yesterday or tomorrow, I'm gonna beat his ass. And then okay, once he gets that under his belt, then he can do that. Like I said, either one of them guys, if they fight whoever, if they fight each other, whoever wins, then they can fight. I wouldn't say Earl Spence is an easy fight, but I was saying that either one of them guys could fight the guy that they moved up for the WBA title. You know, the Brass dude. I would say that because he's the less experienced of the champions right now. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know, inside of Xander Zayas and the other guy, he won a championship, but so like I'm saying, I wouldn't push those guys into a fight like that once they're fighting each other like that, because they're two top contenders for the title. So I think they deserve a shot at the title since so many titles, you know, and I would believe that guy, I would be trying to angle my guy for that title. If the winner out of Virgil Ortiz and Boots Ennis should fight a Brass for that fight. And then, you know, go on and if it's Earl Spence or if it's a unification or whatever.
I guess my thing is boxers are not scared of each other. Like they're not afraid to like fight another man, like face to face, you know. But I think the manager's job is to say, okay, the smartest chess move is to do this, even though it doesn't look. But I'm trying to get you the most money in your pocket. So I see both sides. I really do. I don't think Virgil is afraid to fight Boots. I don't think. I mean, I hope Boots is not afraid to fight Virgil. I don't know. But I would love to see that fight. But I can also see as the manager him saying, I'm going to put this money in your pocket and then we're going to put some more money in your pocket. I can see that side of it too. But as a fan, I want to see Virgil and Boots next.
That's the fight. There's no other fight. There's no other fight. No. They both did too much talking. No. They done too much talking. Now, they done too much talking. No.
Do you think
I don't want to hear no manager shit. I don't want to hear no fucking manager. No. I don't want to hear that shit.
Do you think they will let that marinate for another 10 years like Crawford and Spence? Surely not, right?
It's no. Listen, first of all, they should have fought at 47.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, Virgil Ortiz moved up. He went through his illnesses. He moved up. He fought them good fights. They was tough fights. He pulled through. He got his hand raised. Boots Ennis killed himself to make 47. He did what he was supposed to do in that situation. He became a unified champion and a Ring Magazine champion. He moved up. He kept complaining about going up and down. How it was a hard time making 47. Now we talking about a guy. Listen, now we talking about a guy who they are saying is a hybrid fighter. He's Roy Jones and Terrence Crawford in one.
Who's that?
Yeah, that's what they were saying about him.
That's what they're saying.
I never see that yet.
They said he's a hybrid. He's a Terrence Crawford, Roy Jones hybrid. Now, when a guy like that don't need no tune-ups, he's already been a world champion. He don't need no tune-ups. He shouldn't need no tune-ups. And like I say, Virgil Ortiz, now, you said you accepted the fight. Before this fight that he just fought, before he fought the guy that he just knocked out, Virgil Ortiz said, we accepted the fight. Everybody said that Boots said he needed 2 tune-ups before he fought Virgil Ortiz. Yeah. And nobody never seen that. And he never refuted that. He never come out and said, that's a lie. They lying. I never said no shit like that. Or I accepted the fight with Virgil and they didn't want to accept it. Nobody never refuted none of the rumors. So if we held the rumors is true that Ortiz accepted the fight, Virgil, Boots wanted to wait a little bit. He did go through what he said. He fought a tune-up fight. And now they saying, forget that. He looks so good that he can't. It ain't no. Since the fight. Listen, it's either make or break. Ain't no. This is for me. It's either that or nothing.
Yep, I agree.
You too.
I still have questions.
Go ahead.
I still have questions. That Boots don't look like no Roy Jones Jr. Terrence Crawford mix to me.
No. And no. And no. And I don't believe that neither. But
no.
The machine that's pushing him you know, they like I say, and Eddie Hearn them, everybody, every time you mention in Boots, you trying to mention Crawford when there's no, it's like I'm saying, let that man be. You know,
Right.
I can
There's
see the way
levels.
they you know, his aesthetics, the way he
Yeah.
looks. So they
Aesthetics, yeah.
looking like, damn, he'd be the one that can beat Crawford or give Crawford a test. But you know, come on, we didn't see no, you know, Crawford just too smart for this guy. Crawford just too brutal for this guy. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Crawford can, you know, and so just let that die. You know, just let that
Yeah,
die.
for real.
Stop trying to promote this guy off of Crawford's back. You know, let us
Yeah.
see it in the ring. Let us see it with substance. And we haven't seen no substance out of Boots. You know, we haven't seen no
Nothing.
substance out of Boots.
35 fights. 35 fights. Who has he fought? Can I see something? You know what? I want to be a fan of him. I want to,
Yes,
but I
yes,
cannot.
yes.
I can't.
Because it's all propaganda. I mean, like, you know, you got him fighting Stanionis, who was sitting on the sidelines for so
Yep.
long.
Yep.
And then I look at
And
Stanionis and
that's the biggest fight he's had.
right. And who was Stanionis? Outside of him being an Eastern European fighter, what gave him so much credibility?
But
Right.
that shall, at the last minute, that shall have been the gateway to open up Boots a big fight at that point, because they say the Eastern European boxers are much different than here. A lot of times they take control of them, right? This is what history tell us. So that shall have been the gate opener for Boots to have a big fight, and they refused to do that. So
They
I'm still
refused.
questioning. I'm
Yes,
still
they refused to
questioning
do it.
where's Boots.
Yes, yes, yes. And like I say, I want to be a fan of his, but
Same.
again, like I say, when is the proof gonna be in the pudding?
Same.
Right.
Absolutely. Let me ask you about this. So I've gotten a lot of criticism because I have said Jake Paul is a real boxer. Okay. He's on Box Rec. He trains. He has coaches. He's fought, regardless, he's fought. He's been in the ring. He's fought, right? So, and
Mhm.
a lot of people, you know, they want to discredit him. But now we're seeing now he's no longer going to fight Tank. There's rumors about AJ and he fighting. Talk to me about what your thoughts are on that.
Oh, AJ should kill him. AJ
Yeah.
would kill him.
But
You
but
know,
can, but can we deny that Jake Paul is a real boxer? Can we deny that? Like, does he do everything a boxer
he's
does?
not a,
Like, he is
he's not a,
legit a boxer,
he's
whether
a,
he's
no,
good
no,
or
no.
not.
Yeah, but yeah, no, yeah, and like I say, a guy off the street can turn professional and call himself a professional,
And he's a
but that don't
boxer.
make, you know. So he is a boxer. No, he is a boxer. He did fight. He fought Tommy Fury, who was a boxer. He
Yes.
fought Chavez Jr., who was a boxer. You know, he got his feet wet with the MMA guys. You know, he's been training with, I guess, some good coaches, and he's been working on his craft. But is he a number 10 contender by any sanctioning body? No,
No.
no way.
No, but
No.
No
someone
way.
sanctioned him at 15. Someone put him at 14 or 15.
They said
Yeah.
he's
That
number
that
10 by the
that.
WBA. They
Mm-mm.
said he's
WBA put him at number 10.
number 10. They said he was number 10 by the WBA.
That I
So
don't. I don't.
I'm
Yeah.
like, man, you know, but
Money.
so
That's a money thing.
yeah. And like I said, you know, for whatever it is, his popularity, right? But it's Wayne, it's like it's the gimmick is kind of wearing off, you know, because I thought the Tank fight was a straight farce, you know, being that they
Oh,
were so much
100%.
different weight classes, you know.
100%.
Um and you know, like I say, if you want to see Jake Paul is his own it don't matter who Jake Paul fight. You know what I'm saying? Because Jake Paul
Yeah.
is the entertainment. So, you know, having him fight the Chavez or whoever else with a name, that's the machine to build him by. Don't try to rush this man into world champions to real world
Agree.
champions. You know
Agree.
what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
he don't need that. He
Yeah.
does not need that to build money, to make money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To
He's
you know what
got
I'm
his
saying?
fan base for sure.
He's got his fan base. So trying to legitimize this guy too fast is it don't make no sense because He already lost to Fury. You think he gonna do something with Zerto Ramirez? Man, please. You think he gonna
Yeah,
do something
yeah.
with Bobby? Man, please. Come on, man. No, 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 no.
I,
So,
I totally agree with
but
you.
I respect what he's doing because his platform is bringing new eyes to the real fighters.
Yeah,
He's helping
Absolutely.
all the real fighters, the more established fighters, and he's putting them on a big stage, and he's putting more money in their pockets. And so that's good. That's a blessing in itself.
and
But not to
the
be,
women, to me, the way
yeah,
that he's doing the women, like, yes, I love it.
yeah, yes.
Hmm.
And like I'm saying, so in that's a feather in his cap. So he
Facts.
can he can feel good that he built a brand so big to
Yes,
where he can open up doors for other people.
yes,
Now he's not the
absolutely.
most, like I say, his talent ain't really bringing in. His personality is bringing it in.
Yes,
So
Hmm.
just
however
him.
you get the asses in the seats is good, but
Yes,
it
yes,
makes you more of an OG that you can bring those people in and bring those people up. So I commend him on that.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Same,
Hmm.
same. Um, so let's talk about. There's a fight Saturday. Your team is in London. We got
Hmm.
Eubank, Connor Ben 2. Let's talk
Hmm.
about that. Give me your thoughts on that fight. Is it gonna go like it did last time, or is it gonna be a whole different situation?
Well, I didn't watch the fight for real. I didn't watch the fight, but I just heard how much they banged it out, and
Yeah,
I know of course we came out on top. I'm expecting Eubank to win again. I
hmm,
think Conor Ben is a limited fighter. I think we've seen that with the Dobson fight. The one thing about it, and maybe with the management, how like you saying about the money and everything, and that's why they went for that. But I don't understand why they didn't press him against Barrios. I feel like Barrios is a good fighter, but I feel like, you know,
I didn't
trying
even
to
think
get him
about that.
at least get him a shot at the title. I don't know if he can
Yeah,
make 47, but that was his division. So with his popularity, I don't see why they didn't try to angle him to get a shot at the title because the European guys, they can lose and still keep coming back and making money. So
that
a
is
loss
so
ain't
true.
going to kill them. So at least he could have had a slight chance to become a world
Yes,
champion, and then it would have made him even more, marketable. But so fighting Eubank, like I say, his profile did go up. Their profiles did go up in their countries, and I guess in boxing somewhat, because of the fight that they put on. But I'm expecting Eubank to win,
yeah.
and I just don't know where they go from there. I'm thinking, maybe Eubank, because Adamas, they keep leaving out Adamas
They
at
do.
middleweight.
They
You know
do.
what I'm
They
saying?
do.
Like they
Yes,
keep
they
But
do.
forgetting about Adamas, and I know Adamas is a really good fighter, but
Yeah.
I'm saying, the other champions are occupied, and Adamas is right there. You know what I mean? Because who's fighting Ramos and Shane Mosley Jr. is fighting
Yeah,
for the
that's like,
interim title
I think that's
at
next, is
60.
that next week or weekend?
Yeah,
Yeah,
at
it's coming up.
60.
I know it's coming up. Yeah.
So either, and I'm expecting Ramos to win that fight.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if in that situation, if I'm Ramos, whoever wins, I'm fighting either the winner out of Benn and Eubank, or I'm fighting trying to get Adamas for the title.
yeah,
Mm.
but
December
is
6th.
Adamas
Okay.
Adamas is with Uncle Tuck right now, right?
I don't know who he's with. I
I
don't know
don't I
who.
don't know it either. But yeah, yeah, I didn't even think about some of the angles and the things you're speaking on. That is so true. That is so right. But I think because Eubank and Ben are such royalty in the UK, it's like
Yeah,
that's the fight to make, and they're not even thinking about anybody else. So I get
yeah,
it. It's money.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
Cool.
big money.
And I
Um,
thought about that too. I said, well, you know, um, speaking of the team Crawford, they, now we over in a rivalry that goes back, because they fathers fought, and
yes.
so is even we lost. We was on the losing end with Amir Khan against
Mhm.
Kell Brook, but
Mhm.
like I
Right.
say, we even inserting ourselves into the rivalries over there in the UK.
Yeah.
So shout out to Team Crawford, man. Yeah,
That's
let's go.
true.
Let's get that
That's
dub
true.
again, man. Let's get that dub.
Absolutely. Let's get
So
that dub. Absolutely. The last subject that I want to touch on is, in my opinion, even though a lot of people criticized his last performance, in my opinion, our next American heavyweight champion is going to be Joshua Edwards, in my opinion, Olympian Joshua Edwards. But we also have Rich Torrez that is going to be fighting this weekend.
Mhm.
Talk to me about your thoughts on the future of the American heavyweight champions, and what are your thoughts on both of those guys?
Um, Actually, they called me about training Torres. They called me about training him,
We
and
gonna touch on it. Yes. Okay.
so I was
Okay.
interested in that.
Yes.
Uh, you know, the American heavyweights, they just seem not. They just seem to be lacking right now. I don't know this other guy you other said, the other Edwards. I didn't see him. I don't know who
Joshua
he
Edwards.
is,
Yeah.
but the heavyweights now they just seem to be lacking, And one of the heavyweights, he's an older guy, but they've been holding kind of what's the kid's name? Michael Hunter. They've been holding him
Michael
down.
Hunter. Yep.
Don King kind of been blocking him. But the American heavyweights, they just, I had so much promise for Big Baby. I had so much high hopes for Big Baby,
Yeah. Which
with his
one?
team.
One or two?
Uh,
There was
oh,
two
the
big
little,
babies. Which one?
Jared.
not Baby
Jared.
Miller. Not, yeah, Jared. Yeah, not Baby
Yeah.
Miller. Baby Miller just, I like Baby Miller, but Baby Miller was just, he was too stupid for his own good. I mean,
That
you
part.
listen, to fight for the heavyweight title, and I don't know how many millions, they said 7 million or something
Yep.
like that. You don't blow those things on dope.
No.
There's no,
No.
listen, there's no losing. Like you say, you come from Brooklyn or whatever that means,
Yep.
whoever, you don't give a fuck where you come, what slum
Exactly.
or suburb you come from.
You can be
If
dumb
you in a
anywhere. It don't
position,
matter.
if
Yeah.
you in a position to that's a win-win situation. You
Yep.
never to make millions on the line and then to have the championship on the line. That's as much as it happens, it's still a rare occasion. So to have the
Absolutely.
coin fall on you, there's no reason that like I'm saying, there's no reason that I'm going to use dope to win. I won once I signed the contract. I won. What
All
if I
eyes on
lose?
you. All
I
eyes on you.
still
Heavyweight.
win.
All eyes on you.
Yeah, I'm coming home with millions.
Absolutely.
I'm coming home with millions after
That's,
taxes. I'm still
that's
coming
true.
home with millions. And
That's
Lord
true.
willing, if the way I perform, I'm gonna get another shot at a couple more millions. So ain't no losing. So Baby Miller messed it up on that. But
Yep.
like I said, the heavyweight, I had a lot of big hopes for Big Baby. I think one of the greatest heavyweights that we don't that kind of didn't realize his full potential was Riddick Bowe.
Oh,
Riddick Bowe was such a
yeah.
talented, dynamic fighter. When you watched him, Riddick Bowe had everything. And he had the potential to reign for a long time. And like I say, but if I was a heavyweight, American heavyweight, he's the guy I would watch in recent times. I would watch Riddick Bowe. Riddick Bowe had everything. He could fight inside. He could box outside. He could find the right what can I say, the distance for the punches. He could like a Joe Louis had that 6-inch punch. Riddick Bowe, he could really, he had a good jab. So if I was one to study, I would study Riddick Bowe. And like I say, but far as the heavyweights, I'm not sure about the American heavyweights.
Well, we just know. So, I mean, Richard Torres was trained by his dad for many, many years. I
Yeah,
knew that he was shopping around for a different coach, because you know what?
yeah,
It's like I love the dads in boxing, but I think at some point you know what, we need to bring somebody else who's been here before, to help us, so
yeah.
I knew that he was shopping around for that. He fights this weekend.
Hmm.
Rumor has it that Wayne McCullough is going to be in his corner. He's from
Right.
Ireland. I know he was
Pocket
a
rank is the
boxer,
bantamweight champ. Yeah, I know the
right?
bantamweight champ.
Right.
Hmm.
I
I
remember
haven't.
him too. Yeah.
I don't know that he's built world champions. I haven't heard that he's built world champions, but We don't know. Again, we were talking about, and this is no shade at anybody. I'm just talking. How we were talking about names and corners. We saw that Ronnie Shields was in Joshua Edwards' corner, last time. He's the name, he's the face. I think sometimes, again, even though your head coach is a name, you might need somebody else in there to add a little seasoning. Because my high hopes are on Edwards, Joshua Edwards, and Richard too. Like I love them both, but sometimes you need something else, you know,
Who
to
was
see the
Edwards?
spot.
Who was it? Did Ronnie Shields bring up this Edwards kid?
No,
Okay, so Ronnie Shields is the new eyes on this Edwards kids, then, right?
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I can't. I think Ronnie Shields is an excellent trainer. I know he was a really good fighter.
yes.
He worked with all the best guys. When boxing was boxing, and so I'm not. I can't take nothing away from Ronnie Shields. I give him a lot of credit. I think he probably don't get enough credit. And I don't think he just takes on anybody. Too. That probably
No,
thing
absolutely
is
not.
why he's not.
To me, Joshua is going to be the face of the heavyweight division. Richard Torrez. Now that he's shopping around a little bit, I mean, he's going to be even the running. Richard is very talented. He's southpaw. He's heavy-handed. Joshua, same. He's very heavy. I mean, I've been blessed enough to be able to work with both of them in the amateurs, and they can both freaking crack and they can box. So I'm
But
just
Richard Torres kind of short. He's a small guy.
he's six
Yeah,
That's the
foot.
only thing I
Torres is
think.
Torres
very
is
smart.
6 foot.
That's
Josh, I
that's
think maybe 6'4", maybe 6'3",
Yeah,
okay.
six four.
So yeah,
Joshua is a little bit taller, and Richard Torres is much shorter.
yeah.
Richard
I
Torres
think
is not
that.
much taller than me. I don't think
Yeah,
He's
about
six
yeah,
foot.
5'11",
He's 6 foot. Yeah,
right at 6 foot. Yeah,
yeah. Maybe 5'11",
yeah.
5'10".
well,
He's
yeah,
not that big, but
Box Rec always.
yeah,
And like I said, I'm not taking nothing away from Shields. He is great. He has proven himself, or he wouldn't be a face or a name. But I think
yeah.
sometimes in this new age, boxing has evolved. I mean, we got to face it. Box evolved from back in the day to now. Like a lot of these boxers are a little bit more technical. They're working more angles. They're setting up more traps, feints, and sometimes we need that as well. Like the two working head to head, side by side. That's my opinion. I don't know. What are y'all's thoughts?
Are y'all hearing that background noise? That's terrible.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
I didn't hear nothing. But like I say, I don't think you can go wrong with a Ronnie Shields. It's almost like with an Eddie Futch. Eddie
Yeah.
Futch worked with Joe Frazier, and that was what in the '70s. He worked with other guys before that, and then he worked even in the '50s with Luis Rodriguez for the Worldwide Championship. And so to go all the way up to work with Larry Holmes in the '80s, so I'm not gonna. No, you need I think a Papa Smurf is always good for you, and it's just about
Absolutely.
listening to him.
Absolutely, right there. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. I do. I think sometimes you need more layers, and that's my opinion. But I totally agree with you. I mean, the masters of the game, they need to be there. Just like some of that have brought up their kids from the very beginning, the amateurs, to nationals, Olympics, and then on the big stage. Sometimes you just need other eyes on there, like something new. But like I said, they're both doing great. I want to see what happens this weekend and how things, fall into place. I wish both the best, and those two are the names that I have for our American heavyweight champions.
So, is Joshua boxing this weekend?
No, no, no. He boxed last week, but Richard Torres is boxing
Yeah,
this weekend.
yeah. And Joshua's performance was not spectacular by any means this
That
last
that
weekend.
that is my point. That is what
Yeah.
I'm trying to, and I want you to go back, Bernie. Go back and watch it because he is way better than what he showed. You know.
Well, like I said, you can't put that on a trainer. You can't put that on a trainer. You
Mhm.
can't put that on
Not
a trainer.
100%.
You can't put that on a trainer. The fighter has to go in there and do his job.
Facts.
You can teach him everything, but if he don't go out there and apply what you're
No, you're
doing,
right. You're right. You're
that's
right.
you can't put that on the trainer.
That's true.
No,
You're
you
right.
can't put that on the
You're
trainer.
right.
And
Some
I've
people
been
ain't gonna
around
do
with
anything you
fighters.
say.
They you know, I've been like I'm saying, I'm having a hard time with my fighter sometimes.
Me
You
too.
know, I feel like one of the things that I had was with you know, with Lester. You know, we tried to work with him hard, tough. We yelled at him about stepping around. We yelled at him about different things. You know, especially me, I was on him about different things. And like I say, I was having a hard time breaking through with him. But
Yeah.
Lester is a very talented guy, and you know, when he get in there, you know, he handles his business. But I feel like if we could have just stepped around and used our jab just a little bit more, we could have stopped old boy. You know,
Yeah.
we could have
Yeah. Yeah.
stopped.
Yeah.
We could have stopped him, Billy. You know, for real, we could have stopped him. But you
I
know,
saw
so
it.
Lester was boxing in Billy's box. He was
yeah.
boxing in Billy's fight, and
But
that's what I
Lester
hated to
is
see. That
he's a fighter, but I think Lester has a lot more versatility in his game. You know, Lester got some slick shit that he does, and I feel like I say, just a little more jabs here in between, just to offset in between. He's not a jabber, but just to throw that jab in between. And when he did, you could see how it kind of affected him, Billy, and just a stepping over a little bit, hitting him with them punches and stepping out the way so he's not there to receive the punches, whether he's catching them or whether he's getting hit with them. I think that would have made a world of difference. Even though I thought we
huge.
won the fight, I think we
I
could
thought
have just
so.
separated ourselves in a bigger way and won the fight. I've
Yeah.
seen it. They say
I
that they
thought
don't
so.
want the fight no more. So I heard that I think Lester posted in the story that and Billy is not trying to fight him again, which I understand because and Billy was fucked up. Excuse my
No,
language.
he was
He
fucked
was
up.
busted up
We saw
So
he
they're
was
not
fucked up.
doing a rematch.
because and Billy don't want it. He was getting fucked up in there. He was getting fucked up. Lester was fucking him up, man. Lester was fucking him up. And the thing too, it helped with Lester because Lester never went that hard of a pace for 12 rounds like that. Was it 12 rounds? Did they go 12 rounds or
Yeah.
10? But they threw punches that's all they did was throw punches, you know, and everything was hard. So I think that was a big eye opener for Lester. I think that was a great experience for him.
Yes.
And that's why the boy don't want
And
that
so you
fight no
need
more
that
because
to put you over the threshold. You know,
yes,
you need
yes.
that.
And in Lester's mind, and I feel like now he's gonna understand the things that we've been trying to teach him, that we've been
Mm-hmm.
trying to get beat into his head. And
Mm-hmm.
now that he's had that success, you know what I mean, and felt that right, you know what I mean, that
Yeah.
he's because he's a good kid, he's
He is a
he's
good
gonna
kid.
take more heat, and that's gonna make him even more dangerous. So I'm looking for
Absolutely.
Lester to come out, you know, and be Guatemala's first champ.
That would be
Absolutely.
wonderful.
And he will.
Yeah.
And Al the Pal,
Mhm.
you in the right spot here. I'm just saying. When you in the right spot right here. So, but before we get out of here, any last words? Crystal, you want to go first?
Well, I will tell you one performance that I was very happy with last week was Tiger Johnson.
Oh
Oh
my
yeah,
God. Yes.
oh
Man,
yeah,
Yes.
he
oh yeah,
need that.
And
He
oh
he
yeah,
need
too,
that.
yeah,
he changed trainers. We
yes,
thought, Top Rank was maybe thinking about dropping him, whatever. That was
They've
just a
yeah.
been
rumor.
thinking of that though. They've been
Yeah.
trying to feed that lad, and
Yeah, no. But the thing too, though, the thing about it is he needed that performance because he had another before the Boca Chica fight. I think he had a really good performance in
Yes.
that,
yeah,
so you could see the promise. You know, the kid got a lot of promise.
Yes, he
But here's
does.
the thing, you know, when you have so much promise and so much where they are uh, looking into you for things, you have to perform. You have to
Mm-hmm.
deliver, and that's the hard
Mm-hmm.
part about being a boxer and an entertainer is because it's not easy. And these guys that do perform, they make it look easy, but it's not easy. And I think that Tiger, you know, he wasn't showing his full potential for
That's
whatever
true.
reason, you know. And so
He needed somebody to pull it out of him.
yeah, and I wouldn't say you're right. I
Whether
think because
it
he's
be
with
an opponent or something, and somebody needed
yeah
to pull it out of him.
yeah, and I think that so he's with Matt now, right? He's with Matt.
Hold on. He's a young guy.
Ramon. My bad,
Is
I
it
keep calling him
Ramon,
Ramon.
yeah,
It's Ramon.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Ramon.
And I like
He works with
Ramon. I
Ramon.
like
I
Ramon.
like Ramon.
I had a chance to work with him. I got a little video of me working the past with him, and like I say, I like Ramon. I
Me
think
too. I like Ramon.
I like
Yeah,
Ramon, and I don't want to say, but I like Ramon. And
me too.
every fighter can't take being yelled at. Every fighter can't take you know uh things like that. Sometimes you got to baby these guys in
Yeah.
some type of aspect. You
It
still want to
depends
tell
on
the
who
truth
it
with it,
is. They all need
but you're
different things.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Some of them can, you had to your delivery, sometimes.
Yes.
But so he looked it good, and
Yes.
I'm not necessarily sure is he ready for like Brian Norman or Devin Haney yet. But he only got what 16 fights.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he's elevating. He's elevating now. I
Yeah.
saw it.
That performance was amazing. He
It
stopped
was.
Nicholas Flow, and
Yeah.
let's keep building on that. So shout out to
Absolutely.
Tiger, man. Shout out to
Shout out to
all
Tiger.
the everybody.
Absolutely. And I meant to mention this, but I did not. So speaking of Richard Torres, I would just say this is going to be his fight with Top Rank. So where does he go from there? So I'm very
Oh,
curious to see what's going on after that.
this is last fight with Top Rank.
Yes. So I'm
Yeah.
hearing, that's what I'm hearing, allegedly.
Well,
Just
see what
saying.
I'm saying. The thing about Torres though is that what angle does he have? He was a silver medalist, but is he
Yes.
knocking everybody out? No. Is he looking like, devastating in his fights? No.
Right.
He's winning, but he's not. How you going to sell Richard Torres?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, he have a personality. He have a crazy funny personality, but that still don't win a boxing fan.
That's
I'm
true.
sorry.
Because okay, but you might see it close when you're next to him, but
Right.
I haven't experienced that. And
That's true.
and and
That's
really your
true.
personality got to really more shine in the ring so much more, And so
Yeah.
uh,
And,
he
and,
just
it,
got to
and,
keep
it,
winning.
and it seems like the 2020 Olympians have been having a really hard time. I mean, Top Rank scooped all up, and they have really been having a tough time. For whatever reason, they've been
But
having a
some
tough
of them
time.
bringing that shit on themselves.
I'm saying for whatever reason, they've had a
You
really
know,
tough time.
yeah, but the one thing that and also that speaking of the 2020 Olympians is I feel like Duke Reagan is one of the ones that
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I've been trying to get Duke, and
Yeah.
it was some things going on with him too, where whatever it was, he didn't whatever it is, he didn't do what he was supposed to do or
Yeah.
whatever. But I feel like Duke Reagan got too much talent to be sitting on the
He
sidelines
does. He
and
does.
doing
He
anything.
does.
And I feel like they matched Duke up to get beat,
Mhm.
but he didn't get beat. He came through. His fights
Yep.
was entertaining. He
Oh yeah.
won those fights. They was putting that guy in with monsters in there. Them
They
guys was
were.
giants in there
Yep.
compared to Duke. So
They
the
were.
matchmaking the Top Rank Duke, which is they supposed to be great matchmakers, but for some odd reason they trying to get him beat. And now
Yeah.
they quit him, and now he's on the sidelines. And
Yeah.
like I said, I feel like he earned his way to get better
I agree.
positioning because
I agree.
you tried to get him beat. You tried to put him in there with them giant guys in there, them hard punching guys, them pressure fighter guys, and he stood the test and he showed his true grit and he came through. And he's a good little fighter. So
He really is. He is.
my heart is out with Duke Reagan.
Yeah.
Also, we got Troy Isley, and
Yes.
Oh yeah.
we got Troy, and I'm not a fan of him on the Instagram right there doing all those different things. I'm not a fan of that. But I know
I see that.
his performances. When your performances ain't what they should be or what the people think they should be, that's what's holding them back. So we're
Yes.
looking for those breakthrough performances from these guys.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what they should be worried about more because that's what's going to get them through the door. It's not going to be your Instagram. It's not going to be, you
That's
need to
true.
work on putting it together in the ring,
Yes.
and but at the same time, I still feel like, these guys ain't factory workers yet. These guys ain't CDL drivers yet. No disrespect. These guys are fighters, and you need these type of guys to keep your stable going. So I don't know why they let these guys go, or
There's
you know
talent
why
there.
they,
The talent's there.
yeah,
Something's missing. I don't know what it is. Something's missing to pull it out of him, but the talent is there for sure.
yeah,
But
yeah.
okay, but is it truly the poor performance of the boxers per se, or is it a change of business within Top Rank as well? Because 2020 is when we start to see some changes within the Top Rank as well.
Well, then you got to understand this too, though. No, because you got to say the performance. Look at Abdullah Mason.
Yeah,
You know,
true,
look at Abdullah
true.
Mason. You know,
Yeah,
he come through with flying colors. You know, look at Keyshawn Davis. You know, they
that's
have a
true.
flair in the ring. They have a personality,
That's true.
and really, when I'm saying the personality in the ring, you know, Abdullah Mason got the family background. The
Hmm.
Keyshawn got the smile. He got the braggadocio, and he got the style in the ring. You know, so these guys are over delivering in their performances. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Shoot to a certain degree, who
Yeah,
yeah,
was not an Olympian,
that was not
but
Olympian. Yeah, but he's really
but
uh,
he's he's he had a little funny shaky performance, but he comes back and he looks impressive, and so I think it's everything is going to be done in the ring. All your
yeah,
talking has to be done in the ring. At the end of the
exactly.
day, all your talking has to be done in the ring, and even like I say, like I say with Crawford. If I want to say that, Crawford was dominating these guys, no matter what they were saying that he wasn't a talker. He's not doing this, but when he got in there with them guys, he was beating them guys' asses. He was fucking them guys up, and he was looking good. He was looking dynamic in what he was doing. He wasn't
Yep,
looking
that's
shaky.
true.
He was looking dynamic. So, when you had that type of talent and those type of performances, they speak for themselves. So that's just where these guys need to worry about is looking good in the ring, and another thing too, which is a hard. You have to understand this is that you know these people, they might be with you, but they trying to get you beat. So you need to have a bigger chip on your shoulder. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You need to have a bigger chip on your shoulder.
yep,
People will sell you dreams and tell you things and
yep,
and not necessarily mean that. And,
yep.
and, and so you really can't afford to slip up.
That's
Just like
true.
with Lubin, like you said, with his bad habits. There's no way that whatever the bad habit is, going into a fight like with with a guy like Ortiz or any of these
Hmm.
guys at this point, there's no way I'm doing that. Whether it's eating cheeseburgers at night, sneaking ice
Right,
cream,
right.
running around with women during training camp,
That's
whatever it is, you don't have that affordability. You know what I'm saying at this
hmm
yeah.
at this juncture. So, that's what my advice to these young guys. And it's not. I know it's so hard at being a boxer. I've been a boxer. I know what it's like to be a boxer. I know what it's like to train 3 times a day. I know what it's like. But I never had that type of pressure, and like I'm saying, a guy when you get in the ring, and I do know that. Like I say, you getting a guy that everybody say he ain't that good, but man, he give you the fits.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah,
he punch hard, he awkward, he got long arms.
he
This shit
getting
just ain't.
good.
You know what I'm saying? Just goddamn. He's supposed to be somebody I'm supposed to run over, but shit, you ain't in here fighting this motherfucker. That
right.
motherfucker.
Right, right.
So no, I got to try to. Oh man, so it's hard to be a boxer, but the reason why these guys are sought after because they have rose to the crop, to the cream of the crop at every level. You know what I mean?
Yep,
And so
yep.
now it's just a professional, and everybody need to understand. Like I say, being a professional is not just getting paid for what you do. That's not
Right.
being a professional. It's how you go about your business, how you
Living the
handle your
walking
clients,
the walk.
and how you know what I mean. So that's what about being a professional. And maybe a lot of these guys need to understand what it is to be a professional.
That's true. I love that.
It's good stuff.
I love it. Crystal, what you got to say on the
Well,
exit?
I have one more question before we let the Bunny go.
Yeah, I know, right? It's been so awesome.
Bunny, what
Yes,
do you
ma'am.
wish? What do you wish for Mr. Crawford to do next?
If
Ooh.
Crawford, I want him just to retire. I hope that he's done. You know,
Me
I had a
too.
lot of people from the city. They say, man, they feel like, you know, they getting cheated or, but listen, if you wasn't with him on the journey, that's the only way you can be getting cheated. You know, just because everybody ain't saying, you know, like pumping the machine like they was against an Earl Spence or some of the other guys, Danny Garcias and Keith Thurmans and stuff like that. You know, it was a whole machine trying to put this guy down, you know, and it was all lies because his views was up. His viewership was high on ESPN. His viewership was high on HBO. His all the fights that he fought in the gate attendance was good. You know, so everything that they tried to say about this man was all propaganda. You know, even with his pay, he was making more money than the PBC guys, even though they were being put in the threshold to. He was making more money than those guys. You know, and so everybody's saying he's not making this, he's not doing that. All those things was being propaganda, and sometimes, you know, even your closest people will believe that shit. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like the people that were because it was, you know, the people in this city that's saying stuff like that is because they believe in the shit. They watching YouTube, they listen to what everybody else saying, and they believe in the shit because it's like,
Believe in
I
the
just
hype.
see him around the street. I mean, he, you know what I mean? They're not saying he's this, they're not saying he's that. So I'm not, you know, shit. You know, I'd rather believe somebody that I don't know, that I don't see. It's easier for me to believe all the stuff that they saying about them, you know.
That's
So,
true.
like I say, Crawford, you know, he just put on a masterful performance, you know, against Canelo. You know, he's put on a master performance pretty much every time. He's a masterful performer, and so I would like to just see him retire. I would like to see him go out. He has nothing else to prove, unless because Crawford he only know how to go one way, and that's 110%.
Yeah.
Unless the man with all the money want to see him become undisputed at 160, and they want to give him that 100 million,
For
not 99 and a half. He need 100 million, not 80 million, even though 80
Right.
million is, you know, feel like me. I'm going in for 80 million. I'm going in for 30 million. I'm
Yeah.
going in for, you know, but with a guy like him who's accomplished a lot, who
Yes.
is set with his money and understands, you know, made plenty of money, you know, and it's his just due. And if they got the money to burn and give it to him, if you want to see him that bad, you pay him the 100 million. If you can
I
give
like
a Canelo 100 million, you gotta give Crawford 100 million. You like I'm saying, you know, like because the things that he doing probably ain't ever gonna be done again. You know, it's gonna be super
never.
hard for somebody to do that. And
Facts.
the way
Agree.
he's done it, jumping damn near 3 weight classes, you know, fighting the face of boxing, fighting a guy who, like I say, when Crawford fought Canelo. Mayweather, and I'm just saying, he wasn't Canelo when Mayweather fought him. You know, he
Oh
wasn't
yeah.
Canelo when Mayweather fought him. Really a good fighter and everything, and the lineal champion at the time. And all, I'm not saying, but he wasn't Canelo. He wasn't. He didn't go through. He didn't have the extra experience that he had since when he fought Crawford. You know, so like I say, it's nothing else for Crawford to do, and he deserves the 100 million. If you're going to give him the 100 million,
Right.
then that's the only way. Because Crawford is going to give us 110. He's always gave it 110, and so other than that, I would like to see him go out in the sunset. There's nothing else more to do to go out on the greatest stage, you know, the big stage like that he did. Like I say, we went to Colombia, and I'm you know I'm witnessing it. So this is nothing that I'm just making up. I mean, literally, people were spotting Crawford from 30 feet away and running up to him. That's Crawford. That's Crawford. We went to the Gold Museum, and we was touring, and people was in the Gold Museum like, that's Crawford. You know, people was running, like Crawford, 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 and we in the streets of Colombia. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and that just like I'm saying. So Crawford is just like global. Crawford is global.
Absolutely.
I think everything that he stands for is any real human stand-up human being can relate to. He's a real people's champion. Like I say, he shake hands, he kiss babies, he carry himself in a tremendous way. He's always giving his opponents credit. You cannot go back and find no video of Crawford dissing any of his opponents. Shortchanging any of his opponents, shortchanging any fighter for that matter. So like I say, the exemplary behavior that Crawford has shown in and out of the ring, the things that he's able to overcome and accomplish, you got to give him 100 million. And if you don't, he has nothing else to prove. So I like to see him just retire and keep being an ambassador of the sport. You know what I'm saying? And things like that, because Crawford now, like I'm saying, he's more comfortable in the spotlight. Like I say, he got a great head on his shoulders and he got a lot of wise words. So I think he can be a great ambassador for the sport. And who else? To why not leave on in a way to where you got every breadcrumb?
That's true.
Yeah.
I agree.
I love it.
100%. I love it too. I love it too. Crystal, what you got to say on the exit?
Oh, okay. So thank you for everyone in the chat. Thank you, Mr. Barney, for joining us tonight. That was spectacular.
Appreciate you,
Always appreciate your historical
Always.
knowledge, because I have a little bit in here, but you have a whole lot of business up in there, and I love to hear it.
I've been studying boxing since I just been reading boxing since I was about 10 years old. Like I say, I just ordered my it's called Joe Louis My Life, but I couldn't find the original one that I bought when I was in the 5th grade at the school library, because I was looking for the cover, like the cover to be the same. But I looked and I seen the pictures, and I believe those pictures are the same pictures. So, it started with Joe Louis, and I just something about boxing. I love the history. I'm a history buff anyway. So whether it be, American history, whatever, Black history, baseball, any kind of history, I like to know things and I like to be versed on it. You know what I mean? So, but boxing is definitely my shtick. And, I'm here to share it.
And Bernie, I want to give you an open invitation, because my late best friend Stacy, that we all know and love, Stacy Schneider Verbeek, she left me, I swear, about 300 books, boxing books. I'm talking about some of them are from like 1920, 30, 40s up to today. So anytime you're in Texas and you're in my town, hit me up and you come and you see what you want to read, what you want to get. And that's an open invitation to you.
What city is that? Where you at? Where you at?
I have boxing books from like 1920s until today. And
where you at?
I'm in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, Dallas. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I have some of the original Ring magazine, stuff like that. So whenever you're in town, you are welcome to come, because I would love to be able to share that with you. I can't possibly those books. And I know that you are a real boxing head historian, and I would love to be able to share that with you. So,
thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yes, well, you'll be seeing me and hearing from me soon.
Okay. Seriously. And I appreciate you so much for coming on the show. Like, anytime we talk, it's fire. It's always fire. And Crystal, my girl, always coming through. Love you, girl. The chat, excellent chat. We thank y'all so much. We had our folks from the UK tuning in. It's probably like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't know, but we appreciate y'all so much. So until next time, we love to love you. See y'all next Wednesday.
Later. See y'all later.
Later.